At least they've got horses in Copenhagen.
Although, with that said,
they have to keep their horses inside in the winter.
People come to Denmark for many reasons. The great food, the colourful buildings, the cosy Christmas vibes.
But the Mormon church came for one thing in particular. Their graven images. But not this one.
In fact, if the LDS Church had tried to make a replica of this statue, the heirs to the estate of its sculptor, Edvard Eriksson, would have likely gone after them fiercely for breach of copyright. That's why this statue is pixelated in all these clips. But that's a story for another time. On April the 4th, 2020, Russell M. Nelson announced a new logo for the church.
We are pleased to introduce a symbol that will signify the central place of Jesus Christ in His church. This symbol includes the name of the church contained within the cornerstone. Jesus Christ is the chief cornerstone. At the center of the symbol is a representation of Thorvaldsen's marble statue, the Christus. It portrays the resurrected, living Lord reaching out to embrace all who will come unto Him.
That's right. In the middle of a global pandemic, prophet, seer and revelator Russell M. Nelson decided what he needed to do was to continue the rebranding that started with using the full name of the church by adding a new logo.
It is not rebranding.
The church abandoned Moroni in favour of this statue. It was made by this guy, Bertel Thorvaldsen.
The church's relationship with Thorvaldsen's statue here in Copenhagen goes back way further than April 2020.
The original statue was made in 1833. It's made of white Carrara marble and is over 11 feet tall.
And not only is there a replica of the Christus statue here near the temple, but there are also several in visitor centres around the world.
Of particular note is the Rome, Italy Visitor Centre, where, in the same Carrara marble, a replica of all the apostles and the Christus were made. So when did all this start? When did the LDS Church first take a shine to Thorvaldsen's statue?
The church has only had a stake in Copenhagen since 1975.
However, in 1950, Elder Stephen L. Richards saw the statue while here in Copenhagen. That set in motion the idea that a replica should be placed on Temple Square. And despite the North Visitors Centre being torn down, there is still one on display at the Conference Centre. But the Mormon obsession with Danish art doesn't stop at Thorvaldsen. I'm here in Frederiksborg Palace, and here's Carl Bloch's original paintings that the Mormon Church uses heavily. Nemo from the editing room here. Finding the Carl Bloch originals really surprised me, and so I did my best to address the issue on location, but I thought a bit more detail was needed. I was first made aware of these issues on the 11th of December by Parentesi Mormoni on Instagram. Parentesi Mormoni here shows the difference between the original artworks and the edits that the LDS Church has done. The issue is, the Church edits these beautiful pieces of art to suit their theology around angels and modesty standards. The original paintings by Bloch are in Frederiksborg Castle in Denmark, and the author of the article in the Ensign knows this because they talk in that article about being in Frederiksborg Castle with their family, looking at the original Carl Bloch paintings. So to then put an altered version of those paintings you're talking about in the article seems almost dishonest, as though you're talking about a piece of artwork but then not showing the originals that you're talking about, but showing an altered LDS version. And then of course the church has also altered Carlo Maratta's painting from the 1650s entitled The Nativity. To add some confusion to the mix around this issue, I've seen members of the church online arguing that this is in fact the original, and so the church was actually just moving things back to how they used to be. The problem is, while this painting is by Carlo Maratta, it is a different painting, entitled The Virgin Laying the Sleeping Christ on Straw. It is a different painting to the one the church altered. So the church could have used this one that conforms to their modesty standards, or a different painting entirely. I don't know why they feel the need to alter the religious artwork of others. These artists are often motivated by their own personal religious devotion, and to alter their work for your religious theology and use seems disrespectful of that devotion. Also, the church doesn't exactly lack talented artists. Simon Dewey, Del Parsons. Del Parsons is the man who painted the most iconic image of Jesus in Mormonism, so they could easily just commission their own painting if they have modesty concerns about Maratta's painting of Mary. At the time of seeing Bloch's original paintings in Frederiksborg Palace, I released a short which you can watch above my head, and now the Salt Lake Tribune are covering it too, so if you want to help support me in bringing these things to light, You know what to do.
Anyway, back to the Christus.
Knowing how the LDS Church is perfectly happy to alter Danish art for modesty standards, I'm surprised the Christus became the Church's official logo without at least some modification, especially when he violates the dress and grooming standards of the Church's university. A clean and well cared for appearance should be maintained. Clothing is inappropriate when it is sleeveless, revealing, or form-fitting. Shorts must be knee-length or longer. Hairstyles should be clean and neat, avoiding extreme styles or colours, and trimmed above the collar, leaving the ear uncovered. Sideburns should not extend below the earlobe or onto the cheek. If worn, mustaches should be neatly trimmed and may not extend beyond or below the corners of the mouth. Men are expected to be clean-shaven. Beards are not acceptable. Earrings and other body piercings are not acceptable. Shoes should be worn in all public campus areas. In fact, if we took Del Parsons' painting of Jesus Christ and altered it to fit the modern standards, this is what we would see. Corporate Mormon Jesus. But that's okay, as it seems it is one standard for men and another for women.